Listen, I could drag this video out, but I'm not going to waste your time because I'm just going to explain the two biggest reasons why I made the switch from using websites like Notion or Google Docs to taking all of my notes, tracking all of my macros, workouts, and everything else that I need on notebooks. And I'm going to explain simply why you need to make that change as well. In a world where every single piece of technology is trying to grab your attention more than anything else, the need for this separation from me and my technology is becoming more and more evident. Because if you look at my screen time, or potentially even your screen time, the numbers, the hours, the minutes, and the days that we're spending online is getting kind of ridiculous now. For example, I've got multiple screenshots in my phone of when my screen time was over 10 hours a day. I used to use Notion and Google Docs. I've been using Notion for probably a year now. I still have a giant Notion tracker document that has all the different aspects of all of my different YouTube and Instagram accounts and all the different content posts, how I can create them, templates, guides. Then I've got things like taking notes down inside the Notion document and so many more things, which I kind of realized I need to stop because yes, Notion is a great website and it's absolutely phenomenal for tracking everything that you want and building your own custom websites or sort of workspaces. But for things where it's literally just annotating sort of ideas or concepts, I really wanted to take all of that away from my computer and put this on the notebook. So I'll give you a few quick examples. So this notebook here with the yellow tags, this goes through all of my video ideas. So any sort of video idea I have, I write it down inside of this notebook. Another example is just a regular everyday journal. So when I have my thoughts about anything that I want to write down that's not specific to videos or gym or anything like that, it goes in here. And then I've got 3 different notebooks that are representative of my different workout days. And there's 2 major ideas that I want to get into. Writing stuff down on a notebook forces you to be more thorough and creative with your writing or drawing or whatever it is. And then the second thing is, these notebooks are not begging for my attention, right? And those are the 2 things that we're going to get into. So the notebooks don't force you to be creative, but using the notebooks inherently makes you be more creative. And I'll explain it real simply. When I'm using my video idea journal, or when I'm planning out my days and reviewing them, etc., it takes me considerably longer to write down a thought. So for example, I had a idea to create a miniature sort of book, which is an ebook which consists of about 20 to 30 different letters or sort of chapters, mini chapters on different aspects of self-improvement. Right? And so I've written down everything that I wanted to explain to myself what that ebook will be like, the pricing, all of its content, and everything else like that. But instead of me writing it down on the computer, which could have been a lot quicker, writing it down on this notebook has forced me to take longer to write each sentence down. So you actually have to consider which way you're going to write this down. So you have to consider what words you're going to use to explain this idea and whether or not those words fit in the sentence and whether or not you could change them out for better words that are more descriptive. Meaning that the sentences that you create, instead of them being incredibly bland like they would be if you just said it right there in one go in about 5 seconds with no thought behind it, they're going to make your sentences use better words, be more vibrant and detailed, allowing you to get used to using more complex vocabulary that can be more descriptive and better at explaining an idea than other words you may have naturally used. Therefore, furthering your abilities to craft compelling sentences when you are trying to articulate your ideas to people you are trying to convince. And for example, that sentence that I just said, I tried to hold that single idea in my head and extrapolate words that I have heard before, and I've tried to use better words to more precisely articulate that sentence and this one as well to give you a better explanation of the fact, but also a look into what an example is for this idea. Because if you can remember a while ago when I was rambling on and not using detailed vocabulary or searching for more vibrant vocab to use within my sentences, they appeared to be more bland, boring, and were said rather fast. But now that I am thinking deeper and searching for better words to use, my sentences may feel to you the feeling that I actually understand and completely comprehend the topic that I am talking about, due to the fact that my vocabulary is much more rich and extensive than an average person you may have spoken with. But enough of this trying to be eloquent. Writing down will allow you to practice using better words and better vocab and having more vibrant ideas and better ways of explaining those ideas, all by simply writing it down in a notebook instead of using Notion, allowing you to speak better and convince people way more easily without having to really strain your brain. And these notebooks barely get used. And unlike Google Docs or Notion or just my computer in general, if I ignore my computer for a week, I will get, say, 100 different notifications or new emails or new software updates that Notion has, or reminders to use my Notion site, so that when I go back onto my computer, I'm bombarded with things trying to grab my attention, right? And trying to make me feel bad, potentially, for not using them as frequently as I had been using them previously. But, for example, this notebook right here has only ever been used on October the 23rd when I was at the gym, and then October the 28th when I was also at the gym. Notebooks are so useful that even my dog is interested in notebooks. Aren't you, Rusty? Come here. Come here. Show the people how interested you are in notebooks. See, he just loves them, right? Okay, now, go. Get out of here. Stop photobombing. But as I was saying, I've only ever used this notebook twice. And when I opened this notebook, there was no notifications telling me, hey, you haven't used your notebook in a while, maybe you should write down some ideas. When I open it, there's no blurting out imagery or ads or things trying to take my attention away. In fact, the notebook literally is just a notebook. It doesn't care if I use it or not, which is so useful for me to try and detox and get away from social media and the online world, because it literally does the absolute opposite of taking away my attention. In fact, the only times I use this is when I have to give it my full attention, and that's my choice, right? When I'm using the computer, I use the computer because I kind of have to, and then the computer's job is to take my attention and take it somewhere else, because that's how they get paid, right? The people who made this notebook got paid because I wanted to buy this notebook to use it myself, my way, the way I wanted to, whenever I wanted to, right? So it's all a little bit about taking back some authority over your life and your attention, because in the modern world, your attention is sought after the most, because if you give your attention to literally anything, they get paid. In fact, you giving me your attention right now is helping me eventually get paid, right? So take some time to think about what websites you actually need to use on your computer, or what apps you actually need to have on your phone, and then outsource them, right? Instead of using your note-taking app on your computer or your iPhone, get a notebook. Thank you for watching this video. Peace.